G'day everyone and welcome to the Inside NBA show. I'm your host, Matty G. I am matrixless this week. He is away on holiday. But what would a crossover episode be without Matty drinking a beer? So here he is, Matrix in all his glory from his holiday home. Swigging away from X earlier from a post from him. But although he is not on the show tonight, he is here in spirit. We're going to break down, well, not where. Why am I using that as a pronoun? It's me, solo. By myself, breaking down week 21, telling you how you can get that win in what is a bit of a wacky week. Two teams play two games. They've got some stars. How do we cope with that? Who can we look to have absolutely scorches? All that and more. Where we can stream. Who's out because of injuries? It's all coming up at you right after this.
Welcome to the ultimate super coach and fantasy sports show. You are now listening to the Insight Fantasy Sports Podcast.
And if you've made it this far, congratulations. You have weathered what has been a brutal storm of injuries across the NBA in the 23-24 season. It has been indeed brutal, and we're going to break down some of the injuries because why we're going to get that out of the way straight away is because, let's be honest, if a guy that you own goes down, who can you look to stream? Do you get their sub in? Do you look elsewhere to another team? Look, of course you do. You look wherever you can get the absolute best value for it. Let's look at this week's injury report. And before we do that, I should say a special shout out as well to the guys who we can squeeze into our lineups because of these injuries, which means a shout out to our good friends and sponsors, the Standard Squeeze. Don't forget that you can use promo code INSIGHT15 for all of your gear. They've got all of the apparel. I'm rocking one of their fantastic hats right now. Top quality gear, actually. Really good quality gear. They're 4-in-1 traveler mugs. They've also got their campers. I took one last week. I put cordial in it, but you can throw rum. You can throw vodka. I had to put cordial. I was on camp. There was kids involved. Couldn't take that away. But you can put whatever you like in the top there. It's a handy, perfect nip every time with whatever premix you want away. Make sure you check out our sponsors, the Standard Squeeze. All right, talking about Atlanta, we all know that Trae Young is out there. Apart from that, Bogdanovic missed the game recently. He is coming back soon. He should be looking good for week 21. And there's no real news to focus in on in Atlanta, whereas Boston, look, they do have an easy week later on in the week, so some shenanigans and rest could happen with Tatum and Brown, while KP and Derek White are also going to miss Sunday's games against the Wizards, probably because it's the Wizards, no matter what label they put on them. They should be good for this coming week 21. Over in Brooklyn, good to see Australia's own Ben Simmons. Look, he will be out of Olympic action this year. He had surgery on his back. They took out the part that was troubling him, which you'd hope they could have done 2 years ago. They gave it every chance, but apparently all accounts went that it was highly successful, and they expect him to be back at training camp ready for next season. Nothing over in Charlotte apart from Mark Williams is still dead in a graveyard somewhere, and Lonzo Ball is probably just digging the one beside him for this season, putting himself to sleep and to rise like Dracula next season. I don't think we'll be seeing him back. They've got a 2-game week, the Hornets, this week. They're in no rush to bring him back, and if they bring him back, what are they going to do? But let's be honest, after this week, it was 21, there's basically 3 weeks of the regular season left. Like, it's just more of like, let's just forget about it. We do have LaMelo Ball. He exists, and that's pretty much about it for him. Kobe White has missed the last 2 games over in Chicago. Now, he's expected to at least miss another one. Wouldn't be surprised to see them rest him for another 2. Whereas in Cleveland, it was great to see Donovan Mitchell get back on the court, but that knee is still an issue for him. He left the game. He is doubtful to play in his next one, and that's Monday against the Pacers. The Cavs did have, I believe, the Sunday, Monday back-to-back, so really good for Sunday for him. I don't think we're going to see him there, but he is playing. He's going to be out for that Monday game as well. Now, the next one is Dallas. Luka and Dante are questionable for Sunday's game, but Josh Green has also been ruled out officially with his sprained ankle. Josh Green would have been a prime beneficiary here. So we're looking for probably Jaden Hardy. Dante Exum he's questionable. He's a game time decision. Dante Exum could get a really nice bump, and Kyrie is going to cook. But again, We'll get to it later. The Mavs have a 2-game week. Nothing really to report over in Denver, whereas in Detroit, Asana Thompson and Quentin Grimes have been ruled out for Sunday. Quentin Grimes just hasn't been right since getting there, but expect him maybe to take an uptick in minutes next year with this rotation. And Asana Thompson, good defensive specialist to stream in. Let's look for his availability later in the week. All good over in the Warriors, whereas in Houston this week, obviously with Shenny being out, Cam Whitmore being out for another 2 to 3 weeks as well. We're going to get massive bumps off guys like Fred VanVleet, Jabari Smith Jr., and Jalen Green. But again, what are we going to do here? We can't go and add any of these guys. They're already gone. So we're going to look around for guys like Jock Landale and peripheral guys around the edges. But again, we don't need to really lean into Houston too much until later in the week, and I will talk about those guys. In the Clippers, James Harden and Norm Powell are questionable Sunday, but they should be good to go for week 21. In the game today, the Warriors and the Lakers, a bit of an eye contusion. Like Anthony Davis copped one, and he's gone out. He missed the rest of the game. The Lakers lost that one. Let's look for an update without him. I don't know if that sometimes with an eye and around the head and they're a bit dizzy, you can actually go into concussion protocol. So I am curious to see what happens there as well, whereas we're still waiting for Cam Reddish with his ankle injury to return. In Memphis, we've got Jordan Goodwin, Vince Williams, and Scottie Pippen Jr. They were all benched on the Saturday game, while Desmond Bain made a welcome return. Now, we could expect to see Desi Bain back in the lineup, Jaren Jackson Jr. in the lineup, but they do have an interesting one against the Spurs, I believe it is, later in the week. Sounds like a really good time not to play your players against a tanking team, especially after they've just come back from injury. Well, they might just have a quad contusion or a thigh thingy-mabob that just needs to rest that one game. So good news for them. Jimmy Butler is questionable for Sunday with a foot issue. They're also playing the Pistons, so don't expect them to be in any hurry there. Whereas Giannis, Malik Beasley, and Marjon Beauchamp, they're all questionable for Sunday against the very early morning game against the Suns. Make sure if you're one of the first people catching this podcast, make sure you set your damn lineups, because in Australia, it's 4:30 bloody a.m. when the game kicks off. So if you're an Australian, make sure you're setting your lineups if you cop this late at night and you listen to it. Rudy Gobert has been in and out of the lineup of late for the Timberwolves. They continue to roll. Naz Reid obviously getting the biggest bump here. He didn't play Saturday against the Jazz, but he should be good to go for week 21. In New Orleans, these are guys we have to pay attention to in week 21. I'll break down why they've got a really favorable schedule, and they're a really good option to focus in on with some streams this week. Now, Larry Nance is one of the targets that I do have in mind. He missed Saturday's game. He was just sick. Herb Jones didn't play. He had a hip contusion. Good bump for Trey Murphy, but again, you're not getting Trey Murphy off your waiver wire. Maybe in a 10-team league, you'll find him. All good for the Knicks, the OKC Thunder, and the Magic, whereas Philadelphia, Tobias Harris continues to be in and out of every other few games. He's got a bit of a sprained ankle. They're not going to rush him any back as they slide in the standings and look to pretty much become a playing team at this point, the Philadelphia 76ers. Josh Okogie is out on Sunday because of abdominal strain. Don't worry about bringing in anyone there. Maybe some more ball minutes. Who knows there? Whereas in Portland, Jeremy Grant missed on Saturday against the Pels. Matisse Thybulle also did it with ankle soreness. DeAndre Ayton has been back in the lineup. This is going to be a mismatch on this tanking team. Scoot Henderson is still coming off the bench. We're getting Kamara minutes in here. We're getting Walker minutes. We're just getting the mishmash that is the Portland Trailblazers right now. And to be honest, I don't know what we can really glean from it. It's almost one of those case-by-case basis, like, oh, they're out today. Who should I stream on in? And then we roll from there, because the Trailblazers are in the same tanking situation, but they're not going to continue to roll out their best players. They're going to be a little bit of sick, or there's going to be some shenanigans that happen down the line. And they're just going to be like, you know what? Not today. Or the medical staff is going to look around and be like, you know what? Yeah, this game is against the Detroit Pistons. And you know what? You don't need to play.
Like my wife always says, not tonight.
That's pretty much going to be the injury reporting for most of these teams that are taking down the rest of the way. And this is why, if you're just kicking off your fantasy playoffs right now, it's crazy to think about that this is week 21. If you kick off the quarterfinals, you move into week 22 in the semis. Week 23, it can be an absolute shit show. We've only got 4 weeks of fantasy left. This is where a really nice semifinals is. Grand final, the final round in 22 is ideal. Look, ideally, this could be your grand final week. And this is, I think next year I might look to wrap leagues in week 21. I think just week 22 gets way too dicey. 24th of March, 31st of March, by the end of the month, it has to be done. It pushes in that 2 weeks in April, and it really does become silly season. Hello, Delano Banton. Again, Portland Trailblazers. Banton. It's going to absolutely eat people alive for about 40 points a game, I'm pretty sure. Like the other day, DeAndre Ayton took the piss. 31 and 14. He's been huge. Banton playing 42 minutes the other night. Now, he was 6 from 20, 16 points, 4 steals. Great. And then he can drop 30 points any other bloody given night of the week. Scoot Henderson was in the starting lineup. Again, don't know if that's good. Don't know if that's bad. He isn't showing out this year. Like, well, I'm not ready just to jump ship on Scooty McBuckets yet. I hate to dismiss a young guy. Like, it's just, it hasn't shown this season. And in the situation he's in as well, like, look who's been out. Shaden Sharp has been out. Anthony Simons has been in and out of the lineup. And Scoot Henderson's there. He's a little guy. I think he's going to, look, he'll find his way in the NBA for sure. But his stock has fallen considerably. And you might find yourself in the position next year where this guy is like a late round flyer. And then it gets really tasty and really tantalizing. Like, oh, could I just bring Scoot in? Just give the young bloke some time. That's all I'm saying. Over in Sacramento, Trey Lyles has an MCL. His knee, he's going to be reevaluated in a couple of weeks, which sucks because the Kings have a very favorable schedule. Nothing really going on in San Antonio apart from we are going to watch the shutdown machine that is Victor Wembanyama. Obviously, the more that Wemby plays, well, the more likely he's not to play. They're going to reduce his minutes, maybe not the back-to-backs. We saw it a couple of weeks ago. We've seen him just be phased down occasionally. This could continue. And again, why, if you are just starting your playoffs now and you're a Victor Wembanyama owner, you're a little bit nervous. In Toronto, it's unfortunate that RJ Barrett has lost his younger brother. He is away from the team, obviously, for personal reasons, and he could be rejoining them by the end of the week. But obviously, a traumatic and sad loss for the family, and our thoughts and prayers are out to the Barretts there. Larry Markkinen has a quad contusion and has continued to be out for a long stint now. Jordan Clarkson has been out with the groin strain, and John Collins is resting on Saturday's game versus the Timberwolves. Looking to this week ahead, Larry possibly comes back, plays one. He could. But then again, when we look at it down the way, the Utah Jazz play a back-to-back. So they play the Monday game. He's probably not going to play. Then they play the Thunder in Dallas. I don't know if Lowry plays then. He could be, you're not going to drop him, obviously, because you don't want your next opponent. But if it's your finals week, I don't know. Like, do you need to attack early? You probably do. Like, when's the update going to happen for the Jazz? We saw this happen last year. We saw it happen about now last year. This is when they just said last 10 games, Larry didn't play. And we're verging into that zone now where they're just like, no, look, the quad hasn't healed properly. We don't need him. Let's roll out Taylor Hendricks. Let's give the Rook some burn. Yeah, let's give Bryce Sensabaugh some burn. Let's just get him out there. Let's play him. And John Collins been thriving. He was on rest, but he's been absolutely have taken the piss lately, having a great time. Taking the piss. I picked that up from Skitty. That's from Skitty on the heat check. Look, in the Wizards, Tyus Jones didn't play Saturday due to back spasms. Now, that can be tricky. Let's look at his action available for Sunday's game as well, whereas Danny Avdija was late out with a knee contusion as well. That could continue on for Sunday's game. Let's watch that update. Corey Kispert got a bump. Bilal Coulibaly got a bump there. And Morgan Bagley remains on the signs with a back issue. The Wizards are inclined to hold out people with back issues. This is why I'm really curious to see what happens with Tyus Jones. Going ahead for this week, let's wrap that up. That's all our injuries done. So let's break it down for the week ahead.
He's heating up.
Yes, he is heating up and you are heating up. This is the week ahead. It is week 21. So when you're telling me, let's get to the shits, Matty, what's the best advice you can give me? Well, the best advice I could give you is to join our Discord Unlimited. It's only $25 for the entire year for all your NRL, AFL, NBA, of course, this show, the NBL as well, BBL, 2K advice. We'll give you a custom jump shot. Okay, why not? We'll throw that in for the $25. Get on there. Make sure you reach out and check us out. It is all happening there. We have a thriving community, and we have some big things in store for NBA in the 24-25 season. And at the end of this season, I guess this is a bit of an announcement. I should play a big announcement thing. What about this one?
Strap yourself in and feel the cheese.
Haven't played that for a very, very long time. At the end of this season, I am putting together not an ultimate draft kit, but I'm doing an ultimate review kit for the end of the year. We're going to break down the top 10 players in each and every single team, just a bit of a takeaway for what we can look for before free agency hits. That'll be matched up by in the off season for the 24-25 season. Top 10 looks for each team. We're going to write up a blurb for the top 10 players in each team ahead of our yearly previews and include that as part of a draft guide package for next year. Working on that already. And it's been exciting to have a look at these guys and see where they planned out, whether they were up or down we thought them. May I just preface this with saying Mikal Bridges will get absolutely fucking eaten alive in this. I can tell you right now, there'll be some very interesting words said about one of my favorite players, regrettably, that has shat the bed this season in Mikal Bridges. You just want him to play. You just like Mikal Bridges. So when you see Mikal not having a good run, you're just like, oh, come on, Mikal. Come on. Let's just do it. Let's just play it for the boys. Let's just do it. Talking about for the boys, let's break down all of the games for this week. Now, look, on this one earlier, and I'm not going to lie, I absolutely deleted it by sheer accident early on, so I'm re-adding it back right now. This is the miracle of the internet. This here is our Week 21 breakdown. Forget the Week 20 slate up ahead. I stuff up on that one. I put to Week 21, but this is it. It is 8 games, 5 games, 8 games on Wednesday, 7 Thursday, 8 on Friday, 8 on Saturday, and 6 again on Sunday, breaking it down in there for Week 21. Now, this means a couple of things. When we start to break down the games of the day, we need to have a think about where we want to get them. So what does this tell us straight away? Well, what it tells us is that we do have a favorable, there's no heavy days. The heavy days this week are well and truly over and done with. We had all those this season. We've had like the 12 game days. And now that we're in this fantasy playoff zone, we can start to look at streaming a little bit more accurately. Now, streaming is going to be really, really important, obviously, in Week 21. And why is that? It's because in Week 21, it's coming down to the chips and biscuits, isn't it? Like, if you have a look at it now, it's really just a day flat out where you can go hammer and tongs from the Monday. Do you have space there in Week 21? There it is. There's the right bloody graphic. Week 21. Great. Okay. So the next one in here is the Tuesday and Thursday. We've got to notice that we have this like Tuesday, Thursday soft games here on the Tuesday and Thursday. So we've got 5 and 7 and then 6 on the Sunday at the trail end. Okay, that's really nice for streaming. We want to hit it hard. The Monday and the Wednesday could be interesting because you've got these 2 ones, but you want to attack those lower volume days as well. The lower volume days is generally where we can get a lot of our extra run. Now, with that as well, with lower volume days, we want to have a look at maximizing our ads each and every single time. And we also need to know what teams are playing how many games. So let's break this down. 4 games this week are the Celtics, the Cavs, the Pistons and the Warriors, the Pacers, the Heat, the Timberwolves, the Pels, the 76ers, the Trailblazers, the Kings and the Jazz. So obviously we have like 12 teams with 4 games, and that's great. On the 3-game scale, it's pretty much everyone else out there. It's the Hawks, the Nets, the Bulls, the Nugs, the Rockets, the Clips, the Lakers, the Grizzlies, the Bucks, the Knicks, the Thunder, the Magic, the Spurs, the Suns, the Raptors, and the Washington Wizards. The big kick in the pants is the 2-game week for the Hornets and the Mavs. Now, that can be a bit of a kicker because we're talking guys here like Brandon Miller. We're talking about even Nick Richards. If you have that, here's one of your driving centers you picked up. Of course, Miles Bridges there. And in the Mavs, the 2 biggest ponies in the shed are obviously Luka and Kyrie, both who have been first-round value this season in fantasy. Guys who don't miss shots like Daniel Gafford, 2-game week for him. Now, this is a curious thing. Of all of these games, this is when they fall this week. These 2 Hornets games are the worst of the schedule. They are on Tuesday and they are on Saturday. So you could look to have a Hornet in your lineup, but you might want to be dropping them. If their name is not Miles Bridges, Nick Richards, Brandon Miller. Like, you're going to be dropping them. Like, if you pick up Grant Williams for a one-day stream, go nuts. Tuesday is a low-volume day. Cool. Great for you. But you're dropping him straight away, and you need to turn that burn of an ad or a play you have into something really, really quickly to maximize the rest of your week, because they've got one more game. So then you need to start looking at the guys who pick up their games from the Tuesday. Okay, the Brooklyn Nets kick off on Tuesday. Cool. So who kicks off on Wednesday? There's no one kicking off Wednesday. But you might want to pick up a team, some guy, maybe it's Norm Powell. Maybe it's Daniel Tice from the Clippers, because the Clippers play on Wednesday for the first time, and then they play 3 more games that week. They play Wednesday, they play Friday, they play Sunday. So you need to bring in someone then who you can get. You're not going to bring in a guy for only 1 more game or 2. You want to make the maximum you want to get the maximum amount of games from your week, from the minimum amount of ads. You might have 5, you might have 4, you might have 7, you might have unlimited ads. And in that case, you don't have to stress it so much. But especially in limited ad leagues, this is something that you really want to keep in mind. What about the Timberwolves? Well, they play 2 games to start the week. We'll talk about back-to-backs in a second, but then they don't play again until Friday. So you can get some burn off a Timberwolf, and then you've got some games at the back end of the week there on the Friday and on the Sunday. So although they play 4 games, you get 2 early, and then you can move on along quite easily as well. So that's what we want to be kind of having a little bit of a look at. So again, this is something that we want to pay attention to. Now, if you're looking to close out your week, this is something you want to pay attention to. It's the 3 games in 4 days special. This is the combo on the board as you walk into the fish and chip shop. And it's like, oh, yeah, I'll have the 3 and 4, thanks. Does that come with calamari rings? Yes, it does. And a seafood stick. Now, if you want to close out your week strong, you've got 3 games in 4 days for the Celtics, the Pistons, and the Heat. Caleb Martin right now is just staring at me in the face, because Caleb Martin could be obviously getting a big bump. Tomorrow on Sunday, they've played the Timberwolves. Sorry, not the Timberwolves. They've just, was it the Timberwolves? I don't think it was the bloody Timberwolves. I'm having an absolute blank on who they played last time. But Caleb Martin has been absolutely huge. And if then again, he misses out, no, it was a shitty team. I'm sure it was the Pistons. It's right beside me there. It's the Pistons. If he plays again against the same team, I'm not going to say he's going to be the exact same, but he's going to be very good. And if Jimmy Butler's going to miss more time with Tyler Hero out of the lineup, Caleb is obviously going to be the guy that gets the bump there. So we can look to bring him in to close out our week strong on the Sunday. And then we still get a couple more games from him where he can be reliable from Monday, Tuesday through Wednesday on those 3 days there. That's great for them, the Celts, and for the Pistons. 3 and 4 game special there. We've got the Sacramento Kings and the Utah Jazz. This is really important. The Sacramento Kings play on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The Utah Jazz have a matching schedule. You can make up 1 ad immediately, get the burn on Monday, and you can also get 3 more games, freeing you up for the end of the week. This is really important because, again, on the Friday, like we discussed earlier, there's 8 games. But they do give you that really nice Tuesday schedule where they give you that really nice schedule on Wednesday where you can play around with 8. But we're also looking to get more burn out of some different ads as well. So again, we're looking to find where we can maximize our ads right throughout the week, which comes back to, again, we got this as well happening for the Pelicans. Like I said, hello, Pelicans, my old friends. They actually play 3 and 4 days. It so happens twice for the New Orleans Pelicans this week. So they play on Tuesday through Friday, the 3 games. But they also play 3 games Thursday through Sunday. This is where Larry Nance Jr. and guys even like peripheral guys like Jose Alvarado can come into play a little bit. We need to start having a look at these guys when we can get a little bit of, again, some extra run out of them. For me, I like Larry Nance if he's healthy, because we all like a very, very healthy Larry Nance. But this is something that we need to look for to maximize the amount of games that we're getting in this week. Looking down, we could probably get someone else in here like a Najee Marshall. He's going to get some minutes, but he's probably the only other Pelican apart from Larry Nance Jr. That we could see to get some burn here from the Pels. So again, we can bring in one of these guys from the Pelicans. Later in the week, for those guys, the Celtics, the Suns, the Trailblazers, the Kings, and the Raptors. Again, like we said, the Kings have a Monday to Thursday, but because of that schedule, it also compounds from Wednesday to Saturday. So we can bring in the Celts, the Suns, the Trailblazers, the Kings, and the Raptors. So we're looking around for guys here that we can get one ad. We get 3 games out of them in 4 days. And then we also have the Sunday, which is very, very favorable for us to have a free one. Again, Sunday has 6 games. So you get this ad from, let's say you pick up Danilo Banton. You get 3 games out of him from Wednesday through Saturday. You can drop him off at the car park, and then you can make a fresh ad for your Sunday. So for the use of 2 ads over the course of your week, you've got 4 games. Excellent. And especially in a week like this where you want to maximize them, you can roll that then Sunday into someone for the next week from your Sunday into your next Monday. And that can be important because the Sunday to Monday, the Cavs, the Pistons, the Clippers, and the 76ers play. So you can pick yourself up a Cav. You can pick yourself up a Karis LeVert. You can pick yourself a Sasa. You pick yourself up a Norm Powell again. Hello, Kelly Oubre Jr. from the 76ers if you're chasing some points and threes. A couple of cheeky steals on Sunday just to put yourself over the line. This is where Kelly, Tsunami Papi, becomes a really nice play as well. And again, a bit of a shout out to this one as well. Get him in, get him out. Hello, Memphis Grizzlies, and a shout out to Matrix himself for this one. I got to play the Matrix sound because this is a one for the man himself.
Are you guys ready to enter the Matrix?
Or enter the Memphis Grizzlies schedule for this week. Now, these guys have 2 of their 3 games. Again, they've only got 3 games this week, the Memphis Grizzlies, but they're over and done with pretty much by Wednesday for you because their next game for the Memphis Grizzlies is on Friday. So it's game, no game, game, no game, game. Okay, cool. Get Luke Kennard in your lineup for Monday and Wednesday. Bring him in. Bring in Vince Williams. Bring in Gigi Jackson. Bring in any one of the streamable options you can pull in for the Memphis Grizzlies. You get them on Monday. You get them on Wednesday. And then you can drop them off at the car park and they can go. Now, if you do that now on one of your current ads on Sunday at the end of your week, you effectively haven't used any of your ads for next week. You set yourself up nicely. You can change tack for somewhere else, use those ads elsewhere, but you get 2 games with 1 ad at the end of this week, especially if you're in a favorable position. So look for the Grizzlies for a little bit of early burn, get them in there, get what they can do for you, and then just move on and be confident in that move on. Because again, when we start breaking it down, looking at it, we're going to work the low volume days as well. So we want to work this Tuesday and the Thursday again, the 5 games and the 7 games, and also that Sunday game as well. So the low volume guys to maximize are the Nets, the Nuggets, the Rockets, the Orlando Magic, and the Washington Wizards. These guys play on Tuesday and Thursday. But a special shout out to the New Orleans Pelicans who play on all 3 of the low volume days. This is where guys like Larry Nance Jr., as I said for me, is one of my absolute must adds of the week in this position. Because again, with them playing these games on Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, you can absolutely use Larry Nance Jr. every game. You can use Jose Alvarado for some steals. Might get a cheeky block, get a few assists in there. Steals and blocks can be hard to come by. Larry Nance Jr. can get you some blocks. He's a great ad in this situation. You know, this is where we want to look at these Pelicans. Najee Marshall, he can do some things. Does Herb Jones still miss some times with his contusion? Great. Najee gets some run. Are they blowout games? Well, they're playing the Warriors. Okay, cool. Oh, no, they're not. Mate, looked at the wrong line above them. They're playing the Magic, the Heat, but then the Pistons. So they got Brooklyn on the first game on Tuesday. Then they're playing the Magic. They could be all right there. Miami on a back-to-back. Jimmy Butler play on Jimmy Butler might play. Jimmy Butler might not play against them. They've got 4 games this week. They're playing Philly, Cleveland, then the Pels, then the Cavs. Maybe, maybe not. They're on a back-to-back. Maybe they rest Zion. Maybe Najee gets a bit of more of a bump here. Who knows? So this is why I like the Pelicans this week. And their last game of the week is against the Pistons. Now, if that's a blowout, if they didn't do any resting, you can sure as shit imagine that Zion is ill. Brandon Ingram. I think I got what Zion's got. Obviously, Brandon Ingram sounds nothing like that. But this is where we can start to get a little bit of that extra burn for the week. So we're looking to get in as many games as we can, and that's how we can do it. Again, maximizing these games, looking for the low volume days. Who can we add? Who can we get the most out of each and every single opportunity we can get? Again, I really like guys like Larry Nance Jr. this week. But again, really favorable schedule as well for teams like the Sacramento Kings. Like we said earlier on back here, it was on this one here. We've got the Monday, Thursday, 3 and 4 special. So we can look for guys even like Harrison Barnes or Kevin Hoyt, Malik Monk, if he's on your waiver wire there as well. For the Celtics, obviously Peyton Pritchard or Sam Hauser. On back-to-backs, we can never obviously look to trust Al Horford here. But the great news is this week that with everything going on in Boston, they only have the one back-to-back, the Friday and the Saturday. Now, it's against Detroit and Chicago. Which one does Al play? We can bring in Al Horford maybe for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If he plays there, then he doesn't play the second of the back-to-back. Hopefully that's the Bulls game, and he plays against the Pistons. So at least we can bring in Al Horford with some confidence for those 3 ones. Otherwise, he rests and he plays, and we still get good burn out of them. He does play against Milwaukee on Wednesday, which is a bit of a tougher matchup, obviously. But again, the Pistons twice in a week, it's just screaming blowout, screaming rest for their stars like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Like, what mystery ailment? I stuck my pinky in the toaster. It's a little bit burnt. Can't play today. I'm sorry. And we all know Jaylen Brown can get random injuries. He did this last year. I'm just saying, I think we can get some absolute value out of these guys around the way. And that's how I'm looking at it. So let's just cap it off again. This week, we have on 21, we have 8 games Monday, Tuesday, 5 games, 8 games Wednesday, 7 games Thursday, 8 games Friday, 8 games Saturday, and 6 games on Sunday. Love to get in some Memphis Grizzlies for 2 of their 3 games on Monday to Wednesday. Get them in and get them out. But I'm also looking for my 3 in 4 specials. I'm looking to finish my week strong in week 20 if I need to and move on with a Celtic, a Piston, or a Heat player. Or alternatively, I want to kick off my week really strong with a Kings or a Jazz player. Again, here I'm looking for guys like Taylor Hendricks on my waiver wire and Bryce Zanzibar, especially with Lauri Markkanen still being out. I love the 3 and 4 special for these guys, just like I like my Tuesday to Friday and my Thursday to Sunday Pelicans. My Wednesday to Saturday, again, I like my Celts, my Suns, my Trailblazers, the Kings back in that rotation, and the Toronto Raptors. I'm looking for these to be the major targets of it. And as I said, Larry Nance is one of my must-watch guys for the single week. I think I've got to play the sound drop for that for Larry Nance because it's not often that I think about this one. I'll do this one here.
Target acquired.
Larry Nance, you are a target. Jose, Najee Marshall. Get these guys into your lineup. I also love if guys like Grady Dick and Jonte Porter from the Raptors, talking about those Raptors players out there. They've been getting some extra burn in the wake of everything going on up there with Jakob Poeltl being out of the lineup and Scotty Barnes being out of the lineup. It's looking good for the Raptors to get some extra burn out of that Dick. You got to get that extra bit of Dick into your lineup every now and then, and he is doing the job really well. I am Matty G. You can follow me at NBAGWiz on Twitter, and of course, as always, like, subscribe, and follow. All the links are below for everything. Insight Fantasy Sports, our NRL and AFL shows are kicking into high gear just as those seasons kick off. Get excited about it, get on board, and make sure you take part in everything to do with our wonderful community. We'll see you soon. Take care. I'll catch you on Tuesday with Mally for the pickup. I'll see you soon.